Scene 2. Hello everyone, this is me. Can everyone see me? Can everyone hear me really well? I think I'm on now. Let me just see. Roberto, hi. Let's see who is here first. If you guys can hear me, just put it in the comments below. You know, I'm always trying to figure out if the sound works. Sometimes sometimes I talk for maybe 5 minutes and nobody knows. Okay, no, it looks like it's working. Hi, how is everyone today? First year was Ryan G, and he said, is no one here? And then he put it down. Did he manage? I just came directly to the comments. Wow, I didn't know it was possible. Hi, Ryan. Jin Hyun, hi. Yeah, this week is going so quickly. I really feel it too. Martin had an amazing burger on his latest video. Hi Amy, it's so nice to see you. You say your week's been hectic. What have you been up to? Letty, what is baking day? Is it just a special day for baking? Because I can't cook, I can't bake. My mom used to bake so many cakes for us growing up. Let's see, Martin's here, Jin Hyun. Roberto, yeah, I'm going to talk someday. I should put my English subtitles to my animation. Yeah, you can do that. But first, so Jin Hyun has an animation channel. Jin Hyun, put the link in the chat so people can see. And then I think what's more important is just to make content. Don't focus too much on doing too much. But, I mean, you can add subtitles very simply through Google. Roberto, hi. So actually, you know, for the first year, I never put any ads on my live streams. I never put any ads on so you can just join, because I thought, okay, well, you know, it's just for the community. And then recently I decided to try out some ads to see how it works, you know, just to see, you know, if there's anything to make by it. It is baking. It is very hard. Oh, see you later. The thing is, I'm so gullible all the time. People can play with me so easily because I believe everything. So when you say it's baking, it's very hot. Yeah, here in Korea, it's actually been one of the coolest summers I've ever had, but it's because this monsoon season is so long. For the past couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks, it's just been pouring, raining every day or cloudy. And then yesterday and today were very nice days. Yesterday I went to a lake. It was really nice. And today I just went to a cafe and I worked. Elsa, you made it. No, your Northern English is fine. Baking is fine. I think there are so many examples like that. Here in Daegu, they've got an interesting name for it. So Daegu is in the center of Korea. And it's basically a city in a pan. It's the third largest city in Korea. And it gets very hot. So the Koreans have a funny name for it. They call it Dafrica. So Daegu plus Africa, it's as hot as Africa. Although, I think we should put in a petition to get that baking day going. Now I'm in the mood for some of my mom's baking. Elsa, hi. Okay, guys, I just first of all, I want to say, so on Wednesday, was it Wednesday? Yeah, it was Wednesday. I released the compilation video for the 10,000 subscribers. I'm so excited for that. And I'm so happy and I'm so proud of everyone that sent me something, especially some of the teachers that aren't used to filming themselves, because I know how scary it can be to get in front of a camera and to start speaking. And I'm so proud of Elsa for actually making a video and putting it out, even though, you know, if that is, I think it's probably one of your biggest fears, right, Elsa? And you made us a video, and I just want to say I'm so happy. Yeah, and you know, a lot of people hate the way that they look or they sound when they see themselves on camera. I hate the way I look, I hate the way I sound, but you just get used to it. And the thing is, you know, we tend to think too much about ourselves. We tend to think, oh, everybody sees something bad about me, or this angle doesn't look good, or, you know, but in reality, people don't see things like that. Like when I saw your video, I thought, wow, she's doing so well. And you know, you can see this is a person where if they're in the class, they've got a lot of confidence, but then, you know, suddenly you just change one thing, you put a camera in front of them, you need to get used to it. and you'll be great. Okay, yeah, Letty, it was so nice to see you too. You've been commenting so much. I really appreciate it. Is my dad a teacher too? Yes, originally he wasn't. He was a journalist and he worked in the mining industry. Although when I was younger, he worked at a college. I remember we had fond memories of living close to a college. And then, yeah, he started teaching out of necessity. I think in South Africa, you know, the economy isn't that good, and sometimes it's tough. So he started teaching, and he's doing a really good job with that. He's doing it online. Yeah. How is everyone doing today? For me, what have I been doing? Yeah. What have I been doing this week? I feel like I always every Sunday I come here and I think, okay, wait, I need to ask you. I need to try and remember what I did during the week. But I'm so happy because, you know, every week I've got this opportunity to talk to people out there and, you know, share my own ideas, and it's a good way for me to also record what I've done, you know. So it's almost been 10 months, I guess, 10 months that I've been doing this, and for every single week, and I really enjoy it. And Elsa says, I forgot to introduce me. It was terrible, but I wasn't so critical with me as I used to be. Next time will be better. You know, as soon as I got that video, I knew exactly that's what you're going to say, because I was the same, you know. To meet your dad, yeah, he really enjoyed that. I think everybody they were so amazed, you know, seeing Megam speaking and Sadia and you know, it's so nice. And hopefully in the future, when we do it again, we'll have more teachers even doing that too. Yeah, guys, if you have any questions, if you have anything you want to talk about, please put it in the comments below. I've got something that I want to talk about today. I found this I found this interesting document on, where was I? On LinkedIn. And it's all about teaching, hybrid teaching. And I read through it and I thought there are some very interesting things that we can discuss and talk about. Excuse me. Sorry, I always have dinner late. Today I went to the coffee shop. I started writing again, which is exciting. And no, it's not professional, like really proper writing. It's just it's a fun book that I'm writing on the side that I'm not going to tell you about because, you know, I can put myself in front of a camera and I can say, listen, this is me speaking. But I feel, you know, if you read someone's books and it's not meant for you, then maybe you won't enjoy it as much. Elsa says, yeah, it was amazing seeing everyone worldwide group of friends. That's so true. And you know what? I think, you know, it's just going to keep growing. You know, with your ideas and, you know, the questions you put, I feel like I'm also growing, and there are so many videos that I still need to shoot. And I think I'm going to, I'll focus on the things that you really want to see or that my audience wants to see. And then I've got other things that I think, you know, when you're really into something and you want to follow that project, I want to complete those projects. That's how I am. Amy, I am on LinkedIn. You can find me. Let me quickly write down my full name again. I feel like every time I write down my full name. My full name is Eric Oscar Wesh. And you can find me on LinkedIn. Actually, I started on LinkedIn. You know, maybe when LinkedIn started, what was it, 8-10 years ago, you would put yourself on there. And then when people asked to, you know, to join your network, you just say yes. But you rarely used it. And then I thought about it, and then almost a year ago, I guess, I just started connecting people. I thought, oh, this is another way for me to meet other teachers in a very simple way. So I started adding other teachers, and I've got almost 13,000 connections. So hopefully I can, but I think the limit is 30,000. So I'm going to add people until I get to like 25, and then I'll be very specific with who I pick. Yeah, guys, is there anything you want to talk about today? What have I been doing? Yeah, just my plans for the next couple of weeks, I think. So next week it's going to rain, and I'm going to put out 2 fun videos. I've got a video that you're really going to enjoy. I shot it with another professor. It's all about a writing activity. He uses these dice to play a writing activity. It's called Grammar Dice. I'm going to show that to you, and I'm sure you're going to love it. You're going to use it in your classes. And then I made another video on 10 online teaching tips. Yeah, I know some of you are very tired of online teaching tips, but recently a lot of people have been asking about it. So I made that video in the past for another channel, but I edited it, and I'm going to re-upload it, so it should be very interesting for people out there. Yeah, and then 2 weeks later I will go on vacation. I think I'll still be here I'll still do the live stream. It'll be during the week, so it won't affect our talking at all. It'll just be fine. The sound is okay? Okay, so what I want to do today is I found this document and I want to start talking about this document. If you've got any feelings about it, if you've got something you want to talk about, please put it in the chat. I just want to make sure that everything works well because I'm going to switch to another window. Okay, this is called the presentation window. Let's just see if it works. Okay, is everyone here? Let's just Hi. Okay, I think the sound should be on now. Let me bring this up. And then okay, can everyone hear me? I think there's a blur. Give me 1 second, everyone. I'm just going to fix this quick. Here we go. How about now? I think there's a blur. Give me 1 second, everyone. I'm just. Is it better now? Fix this quick. Here we go. How about now? Give me 1 second. I think there's a blur. Give me 1 second, everyone. I'm just. Is it better now? Okay, there we go. Give me 1 second. There we go. How now? How about now? Sorry guys, I'm just trying to fix this very quickly so that it works. There we go. How now? How about now? Is it better? Sorry guys, I'm just trying to... Okay, there we go. Okay, so everyone, this is something I've been meaning to talk about. I'm just going to check if everything's working. And there's an echo. Is this echo too bad for you? Is it kind of difficult? Yeah, there's still an echo. Thank you. Let me see. How about now? Is it better now? Okay, how about now? Sorry guys, I know I'm wasting your time. I'm just trying to figure it out. It's so with this thing, you have to make sure you've got the right sound. Okay, is this distracting? It's a little bit, it's not great, right? Let me see. I'm just listening actually to my own echo because what happens is I shoot this and it comes out maybe a couple of seconds later. I think it's not. How about now? Is it better now, guys? I think I'll just skip to this until I can figure it out. Sorry, I just wasted a couple of minutes of your time. Okay, so everyone, what I'm going to do is instead of showing it to you, I'm just going to talk about it, if that's okay. Yeah. I think okay. So basically, this document I found is called Hybrid Teaching, and the title is "Be Safe, Be Kind, Be Adaptive, and Be Imaginative." I'm just going to put this off now. So basically, what this talks about is how we can shift from traditional teaching into a more transformed and modern approach. Okay, so I'm just going to read this to you. I'm sorry if the sound isn't great. Yes, very low. Too low. Still too low. Give me 1 second, everyone. How about now? I put it on very loud now. It should be working. Okay, so this is called hybrid teaching, and it's very important. It basically says how we should change now from a traditional model to a new one. And this traditional model we can also call the unresponsive model. And I'm quickly going to talk about it. So the first thing they say is in the traditional model or the unresponsive model, it says that the teacher intimidates the students by highlighting the knowledge and skill gaps in content, and they bombard them with too much content from the start. And this is a big mistake many teachers make, is they start off the class and they say, this is where you are, this is where you need to be, and if you don't do that, it's not good enough. And a lot of students, they're intimidated. They see, oh, there's so much to do. Obviously, sometimes you can tell your students, listen, this is our goal and we can reach it this way, but there's a slight variation in it. Instead, the transformed approach is actually, they say you have to think of Maslow before you think of Bloom. Now, what is Maslow? Who can tell me what Maslow is very quickly again? Maslow has the hierarchy of needs. I wish I could show it to you. I really want to figure this out because I think it's easier for me to show the things. Do you mind if I try one more time? Just to show, I think it will be interesting. It's okay. I'll just talk. Next time I'll figure it out. Okay, I don't want to waste any more of your time. So guys, if you have any questions, just put it in. So Maslow's hierarchy of need, we've all studied it. It's basically that pyramid that says, basically, first you have your basic needs, which are your physiological needs: food, water, warmth, and rest, right? So that's what you first need. As humans, that's the most important thing that we need. Then it's something like security. Hi, Vahid. How good to see you. Yeah, you missed the part where I messed everything up and wasted everyone's time for a couple of minutes. Okay, so we're just talking about what our students need. And basically, in this document I'm talking about, it says that we have to think of Maslow before we think of Bloom. So Maslow has this hierarchy, this pyramid that all humans need. They need, their physiological needs, things you need to survive. Then you need safety and security. Then you need love and relationships. The fourth one is self-esteem. It's a feeling of accomplishment. And the final one is self-actualization, and that's where you try to achieve your full potential. So if you're a human, you try and meet all these needs. This is your hierarchy of needs that you need to be a wonderful person. And as teachers, that is what we should focus on. We should make sure that our students have all these basic needs. They've got these psychological needs. And then finally, we want to get them to where they can reach their full potential. And we should focus on that before we focus on Bloom's taxonomy. Mahima, you're finally here. Okay, Mahima has a channel called Languaholic, and she can speak 17 languages, no, maybe 4 languages, I think. She's also got a YouTube channel. Please check out her channel. Baneri, yeah, I think this will be quite interesting. I'm going to talk a lot. I wish I could show you these charts so that you can understand better. But for now, it's just going to be me talking because I really want to show you this document and show you like Bloom's taxonomy to talk about it. But hopefully you guys can follow. Mahima, quickly put in your link to your channel so that if people would like to, they can check it out. She's based in India and she puts out a lot of English lessons and English stories for students too. So check it out. Vahid, check out Mahima's channel. She's really good. Mahima, put in your link in the description. Okay, or in the chat. Now back to, so first I said as teachers we should focus on the needs of our students, their hierarchy of needs, before we focus on Bloom's taxonomy. What is Bloom's taxonomy? Basically, it's it's also a classification on thinking, how we should learn and how thinking works. For example, you also have a pyramid, a triangle, and the first level is you have to remember, and that's recalling facts and basic concepts. That's when you memorize something and you can list something. Then the next one is understanding something. When you understand something, you can discuss it, you can describe it, you can classify it. That's usually, so the first level, remember, that's when a teacher asks their students, okay guys, what is the answer from yesterday, or what is this in the book, what is this? And then the next level, understand, is we will ask them, okay, well, can you give me a description of it? Can you describe it? Can you give me the definition? So the students understand what it is. And then the next one, the third level, is apply. That's when they use that information in new situations. So let's say, for example, they learn some grammar, where we spoke about the past tense, and now they use that past tense that they learned, and they use it in another situation where they talk about Christmas last year, right? So they use this information in a new situation. Okay, and then level 4 is analyze. That's when they start connecting. They draw connections among ideas. You know, for example, they can organize things, they can compare it, they can contrast it. I can say, oh, what is the difference between two things, or what makes them similar? Mahima, put in that link, otherwise we can check it out. So remember, understand, apply, analyze. The fifth one is then evaluate, and that's when you see if something is valuable or not. Evaluate. That's when you judge something, you can argue about something. That's when you can logically start arguing and debating something. You can support ideas. You can say, okay, well, this is my idea because this. And then the final level that we want to reach on Bloom's taxonomy is, it's creating. That's when we make an original work. That's when we design something, we construct something, we develop something new. Okay, so guys, basically what this says is that as teachers, instead of focusing on the learning, the Bloom's taxonomy, the levels of learning, first, we have to make sure that our students are safe and that they are cared for, and that they are achieving their highest potential, right? Where Bloom's taxonomy tells us, okay, these are the things, this is how you learn. And as teachers, we should remember that. So some of the ways that we can do that is, now we should, some actions that we can do to help forward is to as students, we support our students more. We invite them to share their ideas or ask them about their problems or their strengths, and we have to make sure that the students can learn in a safe environment. But there's something I want to say about that. A lot of teachers right now, I feel the push is for students to have safe zones. Now, I'm not completely for that, because have you ever heard of, what is it, a snowplow child or snowplow parent? Do you guys know? Abiola, hi, how are you? Good morning from France. How do you say hello in French again? I had a French friend and I always forget. Bonjour. Okay. He taught me some French words, but I just can't remember. I'm sure Mahima should teach me something about learning languages. So, I was talking about snowplow parents. Do you know what snowplow parents are? Now, in the past, maybe in the 90s, we talked about helicopter parents. Helicopter parents are these parents that are constantly on top of their children, always checking what they're doing, making sure everything's okay. Bonjour. I'm glad I said it right. So, but now in the 2000s, what is it now? 2020? Yeah. In this decade, we have a huge problem with snowplow parents. What are snowplow parents? You know what a snowplow is? It's that big machine, that big vehicle that actually plows snow out of the way, out of the road. And that's what snowplow parents do. If a student has a problem, instead of them learning how to deal with it, their parents come and they just plow all the problems out. So if a student has a problem with a teacher, what do the snowplow parents do? They go and talk to the teacher. They try and remove the obstacles. And that's a major problem, because these students aren't learning how to deal with their own problems. I remember when I started university, and there was a sign that said, students' parents aren't allowed to contact the staff, and I thought, one side of me thought, wow, that's weird. Why should students' parents contact the staff? And then I realized, even in high school, even when these students get older, there are so many parents that they want to be so involved in their children's lives, but they do it so much that they try and remove all the problems, so the students never learn how to do it. I think there's a great book I read before where they said the difference between rich and, I think that it's a book about the difference between rich and poor parents. And they said, well, poor parents, they take their children to the doctor, and the doctor does everything, and the parent basically talks for the child. Oh, he's got this problem. Oh, please check that. That hurts. But then rich parents, what they do is they prepare their kids to go to the doctor. They say, okay, Jimmy, tell the doctor what's wrong. Oh, doctor, my back hurts. Okay, Jimmy, what follow-up questions do we ask? Oh, what do I have to do for it? Or what will you do for me? What medication do I need? So they actually prepared their kids to ask these questions. Now, this does a couple of things. It helps the student, the child, raise his or her confidence, and also they're learning practical skills for working with other people. So they don't just see the doctor as an authority figure. They see him as another human they can work with. And I think that's very good. Leti says, I fear parents. Parents, man, they can be your best friends or your worst enemies. I haven't worked with parents. The first part of my career, when I was at school, I worked with a lot of parents, but while I was in Korea, not really. It's not how it's done. But I think as teachers, we should it should be good for us to create relationships with our parents, but also be professional about it. Okay, so this document actually has like 10 things I wanted to talk about, but this is just the first one. The first one is think about Maslow before you get to Bloom, and the idea is to create a safe environment for our students where they know they can make mistakes. And I think this is very important. In a class, they've done countless studies over this. Students don't learn well if they are afraid in class to make mistakes. But if they're in a class where they feel relaxed and they know they're not going to be judged by their mistakes, they're going to grow much quicker. And as teachers, we should do that. Yeah, Mahima, I guess it is like Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. It's like that. But I think Robert Kiyosaki, what he focused on was how his rich dad, his friend's dad that was so in control and doing so many things, the way that he responded to life, I think is very important. This book is another book, I can't remember the title, but it's a fantastic read. Would highly recommend it once I find out what it is. Okay, yeah, so I just wanted to say that, yeah, as teachers, we should create a safe environment, but we should also make sure that our students get the opportunity to solve their own problems and to work with adults. I think that's so important. Okay, how are you guys doing? Is that okay? What's the name of the books? Mrs. Abiola, I'll have to look it up, but it's definitely among the best books I've read. It had lots of practical advice, not only about, as teachers. It's not made for teachers. I think it's, it's self-help books or something like. It's not a self-help book. There's a lot of data that goes into it. I'll have to look it up. I think I know what it is. I just have to make sure. I'll put it in the. I'll put it somewhere in the community page. I'll put it up there for you. Okay, now. Number 2, and by the way, guys, if you have any questions, just put it in the comments below. I'll just talk about it. What books are you reading right now? Are you guys reading any books? I haven't since the. Do you remember last time we had like a book week where all of us we shared some ideas from a book? I really enjoyed that. We should do that again. I've ordered a book a month ago and I've waited for it to arrive. So I've been meaning to read that this summer, but it hasn't arrived. I'll have to find it somewhere else. Renee, you made it. How are you today? I felt comfortable. Jinyan, I'm so happy to hear that you felt comfortable. It's so important to feel comfortable, but remember, we should push ourselves and challenge ourselves into scary things too. Renee, how are you today? Mm. Okay, I'm going to start with the second one. I'm so sorry that I don't have this on screen. I thought I could just figure it out and do it. It didn't work. During the week, I will practice. I will put the live stream on and I will practice in private to make sure that the sound is right. I'm sorry I didn't figure it out. Okay, now number 2 is, so I said that we're looking at this document where it's got the traditional model where it's the unresponsive approach to how we can transform our approach with students. And this one is in the past, or some teachers tell students they are behind in the subject and they need to catch up. They are behind in the subject and they need to catch up. Have you heard this before, where a teacher comes and says, I'm sorry, you are behind, you need to be quicker. You're so far behind the other students. Vahid, Aiden, hi. Where are you teaching? I just saw you on Mooncake. Oh, Mooncake's video just came out. Hi, Aiden. Yeah, I teach in Korea. It's so lovely to have you. Wow, I didn't know her video was coming out today. By the way, guys, I did a collaboration with Mooncake. She did a video and I appear on it very quickly. I gave her this idea for a game and she put me in a video. Suta, how are you doing today? Aiden, I work in South Korea, but I put out a lot of videos just, about teaching. And so thank you so much for joining. Yeah, you're more than welcome. Guys, if you have anything you want to talk about, please put it in the comments below. Now, I was just saying that I've seen it so many times where teachers tell students, you're behind in the subject, you need to catch up. If you want to be successful this school year, you're going to have to pick up your, pull up your socks and start working better. But that is the old approach. What we should do, the transformed approach, is where we facilitate conversations and invite students to share what worked and what didn't work in online learning, or in learning, right? So because we are moving on to online learning and teaching, we have to take feedback from our students. And even in the past, if you're teaching in class, you should regularly be taking feedback from your students, asking them, okay guys, what did you enjoy? What do you think didn't work for you? What is the best way that you learn? Now, this is for hybrid teaching, so it's talking about online and offline, how we can do that. Oh, Vahid, you asked the question. In English movies, I have heard she have a lot of friends instead of she has. Then that is maybe a mistake. You know what? I've seen questions like this too, where sometimes you see native speakers say, they might use have or has in a wrong way that's grammatically incorrect. Now, sometimes native speakers, they make these mistakes, but because it's so common, they keep on using it. A common example is the difference between good and well. Now, the way that it should be used is good is used for things that you do. I think it's for nouns. So, oh yeah, you did a good job. The food was good. She is a good student, right? So you're describing the noun. Where when we use well, we should be talking about, it should describe the verb. It should be an adverb where, oh, you worked so well, or how did the meeting go? It went well. Where many people now start saying it went good, right? So that is just the case. You're not going to follow that exactly, but you can give, if native speakers use it, just give them more leeway and give yourself more freedom too, right? So don't worry too much about it. Ebonics, there we go. Thank you, Renee. Ebonics. So there are many examples like that, but yeah, just let it go. Or make a note of it and you can say, oh, I saw this mistake, but don't hold it against someone and you just use better grammar for that. Okay, so Vahid, yeah, I think that's the best I can say about it. Okay, so what I said before is, we should take feedback from our students. Also remember, we should have high expectations of our students, but we should also avoid judging them. You know, if they do poorly, you know, we can tell them, oh, listen, you didn't do a great job, I expect more. But we shouldn't be judging them and say, because you're doing so badly, you're a bad student, right? We should actually, you should rather praise or reprimand their work ethic, but not the product itself, if that makes sense. Okay, Mrs. Abila said, Eric, can you please advise me of a good institute to prepare ESL? As you know, I'm new. Are you talking about getting perhaps a certificate, to like a TESOL certificate, or doing some online work? I think I did do a video on where to get a TESOL, but there are so many online options. You know, there are so many people that want to do online. I think they should. My advice, if you go online and you want to do a TESOL to practice for ESL, I would say go for the cheapest option. Most of them are very similar. Don't go for an expensive option. With the cheaper option, you're still going to get the material. Well, not the cheapest option, but try and find the best one for you. But don't pay too much for it, because it's online and it shouldn't cost you an arm and a leg. Okay. Is everybody still okay? It's so nice having everyone here. If you have a question, please ask. For Mooncake, she did that. She just released the video. It was a really fun game. In my comments, many people have asked me for more content on younger students. How do you guys feel? Many teachers have asked me, can you give us more games or tips or things, especially for younger students? And the problem is that, you know, I've got my own ideas on this, but I haven't taught young students in a long time. Sometimes I do extra classes or I do camps, but recently I haven't worked with younger students, although I do have that experience with them. So I kind of think to myself how I can do it. Mahima, you said, I have also seen some native British speakers say, I was sat there. Is this a common for British English? Yeah, you know, I've noticed, well, the British have a weird way of talking, especially if you go up north. They've got these expressions that they just say things. That's actually the beauty why I prefer working with second language speakers, because if you go to most countries where students are studying the language, they might be speaking a purer form of English than even native speakers, because native speakers, they take it for granted. Actually, when we are teaching English to second language speakers, we are not teaching them, in most cases, to speak to native speakers. We're preparing them to speak to other non-native speakers, but English is just the way they're going to communicate. So, for example, in India, you're teaching, there are Indians learning English so that they can communicate maybe here in Korea with Koreans using English, because that's the international language. Aiden, are you South African websites to find elementary school jobs in Korea? I have a teaching license. Aiden, yeah, I am South African. You can probably tell that by my accent. There are many websites where you can find it, Dave's ESL. The first thing I would suggest is go onto Facebook and join the South Africans in South Korea site. And on there are many files with many people talking about where you can find jobs and things. I think Facebook is a valuable resource if you can find good groups. Renee, I will be better after I make coffee. Renee, get some coffee. I had some coffee earlier. Vahid says, in what cases do we use a suffix? For example, clockwise, human-wise. Okay. Guys, put it in the comments. Why? So you're going to use the suffix wise? Otherwise. No, that's not going to... Does it count otherwise? There are some other ones too, I know it. Guys, if you can find it, put it in there for Vahid. Letty, I'm from Liverpool. Letty, I wanted to refer to you when Mahima asked about, you know, that I wanted to say, Letty, what do you think? Letty, I'm from near Liverpool. I am a northerner. Letty, do you use that? I was sat there. I was sat there. I can imagine it being used, but I can't remember. Renee says, I'm going back to school in September to get a master's in teaching elementary education. Renee, that's amazing. So you went, because you told us before that you're going to prepare to get in. Wow, so good. Renee, I'm so proud of you. Are you excited? I bet you're going to do really well. Yeah. Okay. Is everyone still good? Guys, put your comments in there. I'm going to continue this. I'm so sorry. I don't have this document for you to read with me. So I'll just read it for you if you guys are okay with it. Mahima, we're still waiting for your link. Right click, copy and paste your link so that we can see your link. Okay, now the third thing we're going to talk, was it second or third? Third thing is, in the past, the traditional model, or one of the mistakes many traditional teachers make, is they revert entirely to past practices. I've spoken about this numerous times where, you know, when we are growing up, we think about how our teacher taught us and we go back to that. And now that we're starting hybrid teaching, we're teaching online and maybe offline, it's easy for us to fall into what worked 10 years ago, where we shouldn't do that. And it says here, for example, lecture for all of in-person class time. Students cannot take full advantage of in-person class time. This is a major mistake I see with most of the teachers right now, that the biggest mistake they make when they're trying to go online is that they record themselves or they're on Zoom and they're so deathly afraid of silence, they just lecture and they talk all the time. And that is not what online teaching is for. Online teaching is a great time for our students to practice their skills and for us to teach them. It shouldn't just be us standing at a board talking all the time. Now, a lot of people argue, well, students these days go onto YouTube and they just watch lecture after lecture. That is not the same. When they're with you, that is the perfect time for you to teach them, to do the activities. I told you guys countless times before, what I do is I've got the flipped classroom model where I give my students the vocabulary before class and what grammar we're going to study and what vocabulary they can learn. I already said vocabulary. And then when they come to class, I put them into groups. I teach them. We read together. I ask them questions. They practice. I can give them feedback immediately. I can fix things. And we can practice for them to practice those skills. So how can we do that? We should maximize our time together. Organize time with intentionality. Oh, that's a good word. Intentionality. We should use this time for students to collaborate, ask questions, clarify confusion, and receive feedback. Exactly what I just said. Okay. Now, one of the things that they suggest you do is to use protocols to facilitate connections and conversations. I spoke about this before where did I do a video? No, I think I just talked about it last week, where I said a good idea is to have these sentence starters where you say, I think, I believe, I don't understand, I don't agree with, or where the students can start a sentence and they can do it. And you can use those for the connections and conversations too. You can give students roles in groups and responsibilities. You can have one person to ask the questions, one to write down the answers. You can have a group leader. You can have one person that is for the idea, one person against the idea. And Letty says, I'm thinking of ways to teach in September. Do you think we can use live stream? Definitely. But remember, a live stream is just going to be one-way contact with the student. If it's possible, rather do something like Zoom or you know, what is it? Google something. Google, what is it? Google Class, not Google Classroom. What is the other one? Google something. Use that because at least then you can get immediate feedback from your students. Whereas with a live stream, it's possible and you can get more people, but you've only got the chat to use. And Elsa also says, good luck, Renee. Renee, you're going to do a great job. We all know that. Okay. Is everyone ready? I like this finger snap I'm doing. It keeps me busy. Yeah, how are you guys doing? Do you have something planned for this week? For me, I've got Korean classes. So I've started going to these Korean classes again because it's been one of my goals to improve my Korean for the last how many years. So I've been going, but it's so long. It takes me 5 hours. An hour to get into town to get to the class. Then we have an hour and a half where I practice Korean in a group. And then we've got almost 2 hours just conversation in English for the students. And then an hour to come back. So it takes up a lot of time. I think this might be my last week doing it because I need the time to do other things. Oh, Microsoft Teams. That's the other one. Google Classroom. There's another one. Google something. Hangouts. Google Hangouts. That's maybe what I thought about. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to do that this week and then going to do something else too. Yeah, just work. Maybe tomorrow I might shoot some new videos. Oh, and like I said before, I've got 2 very interesting videos come out. One is going to be a writing game that's with another professor that he talks about grammar dice. You're going to love that one. It's so good. And then I've got another one on teaching online. I always use Teams. I still haven't used Teams. I've become so comfortable with Zoom. Even next, I actually have to prepare. End of this month, I have to give some lectures on how to use Zoom. So, yeah, I need to start working on that soon too. Okay, let's go to the next one. One of the problems that a lot of teachers have is that they give ambiguous guidance. Ambiguous, what does it mean? It means that it's not clear or it's got 2 different ideas. It's it's very confusing for students. Okay, so it says here, confine learning to the classroom by giving guidance instruction that is not clear or inaccessible to all students. I actually have another teacher. I was talking to another teacher and he told me the story that one of our colleagues had a really big, when they first started online teaching, they sent all these difficult instructions to the students that some of the instructions they had no way of actually completing. Now imagine you're starting a new course, you're nervous, you're not sure about online learning, and now suddenly the professor's giving you so many instructions, you're reading it, you're like, how am I supposed to do this? So many of them just, before they even started, they quit, and that's a problem. So what you have to do is you have to be very clear in your instructions, especially when it comes to online teaching or even classroom teaching. You want to make sure that the students are 100% behind you. What I like to do is I get the students to repeat it, and sometimes, when the students repeat it, it also helps me to make sure that it's clear, it's easy to have. Suta, I can see it's got that. Yeah, Letty, I love Zoom. It works really well for me. So what can we do to help our students? What is the way we should do it in the transformed approach? We should communicate learning intentions and give clear instructions on learning management system. Yeah, and we should be very supportive of our students. The first thing I told my students, I always say, and I repeat it, if you have any problems, if you have any questions, send me a message and we can clear it out. Because I think once the students know that they can, if they've got a problem, they can come to you, they will enjoy your class much more. You remember how it was in your class where you're so afraid to ask the teacher something, you hope he stops asking so that you can ask a friend and maybe the friend can help you. And I remember, growing up, sometimes that happened where the teacher's like, does everybody understand? And nobody raises their hands. And then my friend, I asked him, what should we do? And my friend totally told me the wrong thing to do. So in the whole class, the 2 of us were wrong. And that was so bad. So make sure that your students understand what it is. You should provide step-by-step instructions for your students. You should also deliver it in different ways. What I did is I made a video explaining it. I sent it to them in text on the chat that we used, and I put it on the LMS so that they had no excuses and they understood very clearly what to do. Okay, and also have command terms that they can use, to specify exactly what you want them to do. Write, do, speak, you should have, they should know exactly what's going to happen in that class. Okay, guys, I'm going very quickly. Wow, it's already 15 minutes. Oh, okay, well, 5 minutes of your time I wasted by trying to solve everything. I think tomorrow when I edit, because you can live edit, you can a live stream 24 hours later. I'll just edit out that boring part if someone wants to watch it. Okay, now the next one. Use technology passively. What does this mean? It means that, we only use technology for saving a record keeping or distributing assignments. Okay, we don't think about the usefulness of this tool or what the students' interests are. Now, this is a major mistake so many teachers made. And it's something that I get so upset about that I always talk about it, because I see it so often, and it's something that really bothers me, is that as teachers, your first thought should be, how can I utilize whatever I have to help my students? And then when they said, oh, classes are online, the first thing these teachers think is, what is the easiest way I can get what is the easiest way for me to use technology without having to put in any extra effort or doing anything? So most of them just use technology just to tell their students, okay, send me this assignment. The assignment comes back, they've got it. Or they take videos and they send it there. They don't use it to its fullest, what is the word I'm looking for? Potential. Yeah, they don't use it to their fullest potential. Obviously, that's something I'm also guilty of. Everybody's guilty of it. There's some technology that we don't feel comfortable with, but we should do our best. Right, so what is the best way to do it in a transformed approach? We should use tech tools for collaboration, for social connection. I love it when my students talk. Cultural building, we should build a classroom culture, and students should be able to use it to share their cultures. Differentiation, right? So we can have different ways of teaching the things too. What does that mean? It means you can show them a video, and then you can send them let's say you show them a video and they just watch it. Maybe you put subtitles in, and then you can send them some of the words that they can read, the sentences, the script for what they saw. And then you take out the important words and you ask them, okay, what do these words mean? And then you ask them, okay, well, guys, now I want you to use those words in a sentence. And then the next step is, okay, guys, go with your partner. I want you to use these words in a dialogue. And then they come back to the class and they share their dialogue. And then after that, you say, okay, I'm going to put you into groups now. I want each group to make a short play about it. And now they can do a play in class. Even if you do it on Zoom, let them act it out, they can have a sword that they fight, or they can talk to each other. They can act out emotion. Wow, that's actually fantastic. I'm going to start making notes on my ideas, right? So differentiation is really important. Wow, that was a great tip right there. I can, as I'm telling you the story, I can imagine myself using this in class, right? Very useful. And then also, you can personalize learning because you understand what interests they have. So you can use this technology and all the media that you have at your disposal for your students. Okay, guys, can I see? I'm just checking my chat. Sometimes my chat isn't live. So if you have any questions or comments, put them down below. We've got 5 minutes left of me just talking all the time. Hopefully next time, during the week, I'll quickly practice to make sure I can share documents with you, to share it with you. And next week, I will share this with you because I think it's very good. Maybe they could learn a short film dialogue they like, then make a video. I use Teams because it is required by my institution. Yeah, Elsa, you just said that before too. I think, obviously we should follow whatever our institutions want. The only reason I like Zoom is because of breakout rooms, so I can put them into it. It's just very simple for me to use the whiteboard and the breakout rooms. But I mean, we've just got to adapt with whatever our institutions say, because many countries and companies aren't happy with Zoom because of safety, whereas Google Classrooms or which one are you? Teams, Microsoft Teams, it's perhaps safer, and in the future they will bring that in, so then you can do everything you want to. Later, yeah, definitely. They can make videos, they can work together. There are so many fun things. This first season, this first semester of teaching online, I think I learned the basics. And now, when I go, actually, I should write down these ideas, because when at the end of the month, I have to do a presentation on teaching online, and I want to put in these high level ideas that they can use for that, because we need to advance. Beniri, she says, my students really love to learn while watching videos in my classroom. But the thing is, some parents don't like it, as the students go home and tell their parents the things they have done. Mario! I will always remember Mario. Guys, you know what? Mario is one of my favorite people, and I'm not lying. Every week, he leaves me a message on one of my videos, and I really appreciate all of you being here. But Mario, I think, yeah, it's almost, Mario, how long have you been on? Almost 8 months? And then every week he leaves me a message. Mario, how are you doing? Asomadin, you too. I always like seeing you too. Binary, here's the thing with using video. I think the main idea is the parents want the students to produce something. I mean, if you're parents and you have a daughter and you send her to karate school, and she goes to karate school, and then when she gets to karate class, the teacher sits them down and they play Karate Kid and they watch Karate Kid. And then you think, oh, well, there's some good ideas in Karate Kid. I can understand them watching Karate Kid and learning some of the moves by watching, or, learn something from it. I understand that. But imagine your child goes back the next week, and then they're going to watch Three Ninja Kids Kick Back. So now they're just watching another movie about someone else doing karate. So while there might be value in using these things, we should use it to the best of its ability. So, for example, you watch the movie and then use this. Maybe you're doing this already, and if you are, I apologize for saying this, but I'm actually saying this for everyone out there. Parents want their children to pass exams, yes, but we should also focus on the other skills too. Yes, because they're going to pass exams, and some of the best ways to learn is by doing. So what I would suggest is use a movie, but use short clips and give them the script, and then get them to practice the dialogue, and then get them to use some of the vocabulary in the dialogue and make their own sentences. And then, like I said, act out some of the movie scenes, right? Or take some ideas away. I put out a couple of videos. The one video is reading games and listening games, and I put some ideas in there for using video too. So don't just use video. If you use video, use it sparingly if it's useful, but then get the students to interact with that content. I think that's very important, right? You understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's wrong what you're doing, but even for myself, I've made the mistake where I was teaching younger students, and at the start of the class, maybe I would, because they're so wild and unpredictable, it wasn't a normal class. This was just a couple of students. So I would get them to draw something. And then when they draw something, I want them to talk about it and explain it. But then many of the parents complain because the kids draw it. But I shouldn't just have done that the whole time. I should have done other activities where they don't just draw all the time. Because when a kid goes home to their parents, what's the first thing they're going to say? Oh, I watched a movie. Instead, if they do fun things, but you don't focus on a movie every time, but maybe other aspects too, they're going to go home and say, oh, well, I made a conversation with a friend about this. Or we role played something. We went to the beach and we ordered an ice cream, and that's what we did. Mom, you just made it. Renee, Mrs. Abiola, are you a grandma, as Abiola in Spanish is named for grandmother? Wow, that's interesting. When my students watch video, I tell them to write an essay about the video. Somedin, that's great. Let them do that. And then also, try to get them to talk about it. So let's say you put them into small groups and they can discuss different parts about it, right? So I think so. Writing an essay is a personal thing where you break it down in your head, the things you want to talk about. But if you can put them into groups where they work as a group to solve problems and to discuss things, that might be a little bit more fun. So we should try these different things. Yeah, I think that's definitely it. What I will do is, let me just look at this quickly. Okay, there's just 4 more things left. But I think I'll talk about it next week. Next week, I will make sure to get the technology working. I won't waste your time again. But I am really thankful that you stayed with me this long. It's already an hour. Wow. Yes, soy venezolana. Okay, Mrs. Abuela, are you a grandmother? Really? Wow, that's amazing. Okay, Beneri, a very clear explanation, Eric. Students react to the activities, but I hope I will make the amendments. Yeah, and make sure you explain it to the students too, that they know what value they should get out of it. And also tell them not to tell their parents just they're watching a video. What I tell my kids at the end of class, if I'm teaching younger students, is I say, okay, what did you learn today? So that they know exactly what they should tell their parents. Otherwise, they just go to their parents and say, what did you do today? Oh, nothing. Or we just watched the video. So make sure. 5 grandchildren. Mrs. Abuela. Congratulations. Well, I had no idea. Yeah, I guess my mom wants to be a grandmother at some point. So I'll have to get working on that. Mr. Mario speaks English, Spanish, and a little Portuguese. That is fantastic, Mr. Mario. I think I need to start practicing Spanish. I really do. I just made a friend from Mexico the other day too, and I think in the future I'd like to go. Eric, what are you saying, Renee? I don't understand. Let's see. Elsa says, I often ask students to do a summary of the video. Yeah, that's one of the... Let me go back to it. We talked about... what is it? Bloom's taxonomy. One of the things is, so you get all this information, and then finally, let me quickly go to it too. First you remember, then you understand, then you apply, then you analyze, and then you evaluate and you create. Now with analyze, you start thinking about the differences between the things and you summarize things too. And I think it falls under that, does it? Yeah, I think it's at analyze. Abuela, okay. Okay, Renee, thank you so much. Let me see. Abuela. Is that better? Abuela? I said Abuela. Okay, Abuela. I think I sound almost Spanish, don't I? Abuela. Thank you so much, Renee. I knew you were trying to teach me something, but sometimes I'm not very smart. Jinhyun can speak English and Korean. That's so good. Jinyan, I think you and me, we need to start learning one more language because everybody here speaks like 5 or 6 languages. Amy says students shouldn't be passive. I totally agree, Amy. Students should be a part of the learning process. Joshua's also here. He says, Moi es caliente. And Letty says, I speak English and Spanish. I saw this really funny, I saw this picture somewhere where it said, especially I think it's in Brazil or Portuguese. They've got so many ways of laughing, like yeah. In English we say haha. In Korean it's k. Some countries they say kiss. Some countries say he. So there are so many. But then with I think it's in Spanish there are a few ways to say it. Yeah. But in Portuguese, I think there's like 10 different ways to do it. It's so interesting. Jinyan says, I want to learn the German language someday. That's so good. And Asomadin, maybe you can teach Jinyan. He wants to learn German. And then Elsa says phonetics. Right, that's one way of doing it. Okay, everyone. I feel so bad. Everybody can speak like 10 languages here, and I'm stuck with my few that I can speak, and I still need to work on my Korean. But I just want to say thank you so much for joining. I had a really good time. Next week I will figure out this technology. By now I should be better with it, but there will always be some errors. But I'm so glad that you stuck through it with me. Mr. Mario, have a good day. Galina, you're here too. Nice to join you. Galina, going to stop soon, but thank you so much for coming. I think we had a good time. Let's go through. Who was here? Okay. So Elsa, we had Ryan G earlier. Jinyan was second, I think. Amy, you were here quickly too. Who else did we have? Vahid, you were here. Vahid, I'm going to make that. I'll get to that series soon. Mahima was here. She still didn't post the link. Guys, if you, I've got a friend who makes videos in India. It's Languaholic, like language holic, because she speaks like 70 languages. Letty, you were here the whole time. Letty, thank you so much for coming and helping us with some of the English. Benuri, you were here for most of the time too. Mrs. Abuela, thank you, Renee, for helping me with that. Abuela, our grandmother here that we're so thankful to have. Jinyan, Renee helped me. Aiden, yeah, Aiden, you're here. Aiden, I hope you can find some jobs. If you've got a teaching degree, you know, there's so much you can do. Let's see, who else do we have? Who did I miss? Did I see everyone? Letty, Elsa, Beneri. Mario came up. Somadin, you were here. Guys, I'm so grateful. And I think one more. Who else? Oh, my brother and my mom, obviously. Okay, everyone, I'm going to end it there. Did everyone have a good time? Thank you so much. And Martin just made it back after that. Everyone have a great week. On Tuesday, watch that video on Tuesday. It's going to be really fun. It's about a writing game that you can use. And yeah, have a fantastic week. And I'll see you next week. Bye-bye, everyone. And Jinyan, yeah, thank you, Jinyan. It's so good to have you. Bye-bye.